Robert McBride has been sentenced to an effective 5 years imprisonment in the Pretoria District Court. And economists paint a gloomy picture of the country's economic growth. I'm Richard Brooks with your news update. Former Ekurhuleni Police Chief Robert McBride has been sentenced to an effective 5 years imprisonment in the Pretoria District Court. McBride crashed his car after a 2006 Christmas party near Pretoria while drunk. On the charge of defeating the ends of justice, he was sentenced to 5 years, of which 2 years were suspended. On the charge of drunken driving, McBride was sentenced to 2 years. McBride has been granted leave to appeal his sentence, and his bail has been extended. In handing down sentence, Magistrate Pete Johnson said McBride misused his position as Ekurhuleni Police Chief. He said he found McBride arrogant and his lack of respect for the legal system disturbing. Economists have painted a gloomy picture of the country's economic growth. This after dismal manufacturing figures were released by Stats SA for July. Factory output fell by 6% from June's 0.8%. Disruptions due to strikes are believed to have led to the contraction. Manufacturing accounts for about 16% of gross domestic product, and its weakness spells trouble for GDP growth. Economist at Tebe Stockbrokers, Munane Ratsoma.
We are not likely going to see much of an improvement in the manufacturing numbers in the foreseeable future. And I say this because the feeling and the view on the U.S. economy is that there's even a bigger possibility that they might go into a recession. Europe also, the problems of Europe day in, day out, they seem to be worsening. And if you're looking elsewhere in the East, well, China growth is slowing down quite substantially. So within that space, then you really have to wonder where growth would probably be coming from.
Drug-related crime will continue to increase unless there's a concerted effort to educate the youth about the dangers and consequences of using drugs. That's according to the South African National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence. The organisation was reacting to latest crime stats released by Police Minister Nathi Mthethwa. It shows that drug-related crime rose by 12% over the past financial year. Sanka's Shamin Garda says strong action is needed.
It can only increase if we don't do anything about it, and what we would suggest is that more combined prevention efforts with NGOs, that would be SAPS and other departments, to communities, schools and the workplace. The drug busts are very, very good, but on an everyday level, we need more law enforcement monitoring, stricter, closer monitoring by SAPS at points of sale of alcohol and drugs, because that's where it starts.